Right.
All right, so hi everyone, it's Uptown Cindy Brown, and I am here with a very special guest, Tiffany Moen. We've been friends for over 20 years. Do you realize that?
Yep. Crazy.
That is so cool. So we've continued our friendship through a lot of different businesses and adventures, and I've tracked her down again, and now she's at Latitude Margaritaville because I love active adult communities, and I knew where she was, and I wanted to learn more about this community, so I brought buyers here that a couple, I guess last month, and they're going to buy today. And we've been trying to do this interview via Zoom, and actually we just did this video a few minutes ago, and I think the enemy is trying to attack because we had some really great stuff on the last video that we thought we were taking. So that was our little preview. So anyway, practice makes perfect, right, Tiffany? So anyway, so I'm here today to let Tiffany share with you a little bit about a really unique business that she is doing right here in her home in Latitude Margaritaville. So Tiffany, why don't you share with us your business?
It's called Tropical Funk Studio. And it's the business I wasn't looking for. I literally a year and a half, no, almost 2 years ago, had bought some tropical metal art pieces at the Daytona home show. And even though they had rust on them, I knew yard art, it has rust. But my husband kept getting after me going, that rust will become holes if you don't paint over it. And my background is not painting. I'm a pencil portrait artist, and I was hesitant too. So after about 3 months, I finally listened to him. And so I went to Hobby Lobby, bought a few paints, thought they'd match, didn't look good. So I remembered I had a little acrylic set in the garage with little tubes of paint. And I thought, I can do something with that. And my husband went into the house going, oh, this is not going to be good. So long story short, an hour and a half later, I had finished the first side of this 3.5-foot lionfish that I'd bought, with lots of swirls and dots and fun things, colors. It was just fun and therapy to do it. And so when he came outside, he was like, holy cow, this is amazing. And so we posted it on our neighborhood page. And long story short, neighbors have come knocking on my door ever since. And it's been 15 months. We've sold almost 1,200 pieces. And every day I wake up and go, oh, what do I get to paint today? And so I have this group called Tropical Funk Studio on Facebook, both a page and then also a group, and I just post every time I paint. And if it's either a commission piece or it'll be one that I just am inspired to paint, and I'll write what it costs, and I'm about 3 sell a day. It's crazy.
That is awesome. Yeah, when I walked up to her house today, I just couldn't help but to get a smile on my face because I saw this lionfish out there. And then you get closer to her front door, she has a welcome little birdhouse with a fun little, is that a sunflower or sun on it? And I'm all about sunflowers, I love that. And then there's a mermaid kind of like ushering you in, you know? I just love that. It just adds so much curb appeal to your home.
Yep.
It's so amazing.
It's really been fun bringing a lot of color. I mean, the neighborhood is already just fabulous with pastels, but even the owner, the president of Minto USA, messaged me that he had been driving through the neighborhood and just was so happy about all the color and all the happy that I had brought to the neighborhood. And so
I love that. So this little guy right here, he is fabulous. What's his name? Does he have one yet?
Off the top, he does, but off the top of my head, I just like, it's gone. Yes.
So, but that's cool that you
maybe like Blue Lagoon or yeah.
I think that's great because it gives them a personality that I think in the other video you shared with me, one of the top sellers were the frogs.
Yes.
Right?
Frogs are really popular, and recently I did one with a little saxophone, and I named him Too Saxy for his shirt.
I guess so creative and fun, you know, it was so great. So great.
And I just finished a 4-foot seahorse and named him the Queen's Guard because he's really elegant looking.
Yeah, that is awesome. Well, it's funny, as we're sitting here, I can look out her back patio and there's the model homes there. So it's a perfect little display that you can have in your yard. You're not in your yard, but in your patio,
Sure.
and it's kind of creates that conversation. And they even have one of your pieces in the sales center here.
They
so
sure do.
that is really awesome. Well, why don't you share with everybody how you came to Margaritaville,
Sure.
Latitude.
My husband and I, we've raised 8 kids, 5 adopted from the U.S. and around the world. And we were new empty nesters. We were looking for our next step and considering moving back to Florida. We raised our kids in Georgia. I'm from Coral Gables. My husband's from Melbourne, and his sister sent me the Latitude Margaritaville website, and so I started looking through all the different house plans and what they were going to be building, and so Eric and I literally a week later drove down here. It was the end of August of 2019, and rather than going through the building process, we came across a home that was built that I think somebody else had to back out of, and it was like it was built for us. And so literally end of August, found out about the neighborhood, end of October, we're in our new home.
You just knew.
And we don't ever plan on moving again. We love it here. We have a big den where my husband has his home office because he works from the home. A lot of people in the neighborhood that still work from their homes.
That's awesome. Yeah, that is great. Now, your husband helps you too, right?
Yes, on the weekends and very early in the morning because he has insomnia. He'll go to our warehouse.
Bless him.
God bless him. I know, he's an amazing guy. And prep the pieces and and also seal them with a clear coat to help prohibit rust. And so yes, so people tease, what are you paying him? But since I just bought him a Toyota Tacoma,
I love
blue,
that.
of course, pickup truck, I'm paying him pretty well.
Yeah, he'll stay around. How long have you guys been married?
We've been married 32 years.
Oh, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Well, I love that you guys have, created such a unique experience for people that the President of Minto took notice. That is really
exciting.
Cool. It's very exciting.
Yep.
So, it's a process to go through. I used to faux paint medallions and stuff, and there is a lot that goes into something that's beautiful, so there's definitely a lot of technical things people might not realize happen with them. But one of the things that I love, and I want to be sure we get on here, is you have a couple charities that you promote or that you support through. When you're buying one of these, you're not just buying something for your yard. It goes beyond that. So will you tell us a little bit about that? We
take 15% of our profits and we give them to 2 organizations. The main one is New Hope Orphanage in Pakistan, and then Rahab's Rope in India. And because of our children, 5 of them being adopted, and also with many of them having parents who'd been in the sex trade, of course not by choice, it's a awful industry. And anyways, the organizations rescue, Rahab's Rope rescues women and girls from the sex trade, and then gives them an opportunity to learn a new trade and honest income and get the healing they need. And then New Hope Orphanage, just while we've been supporting them, literally bought the freedom of 2 children out of a brick kiln enslavement, where literally oftentimes an entire family will enslave themselves, or a parent will enslave a wife, a child, to pay off the debt, thinking it's going to be 6 months. And then a year later, 2 years, there's been some that have been in enslavement for 3 generations. It's a horrible system over there. It's just, anyways. So in addition to creating an orphanage that is providing the needs of these children, the directors have really stepped it up during COVID and are making about 200 meals a day that they're feeding people throughout Pakistan.
Wow.
And entire families are committing suicide out of desperation. It's hard to even fathom, but there were pictures of a father and 3 children laying in a park he couldn't handle watching them slowly die. So he gave them a poison and then took it himself. And unfortunately, that's a common occurrence. They don't have a backup system like we have here in the U.S. So they'll go and they'll create packages of food that a family can live on, say, for 2 weeks, and distribute that in addition to meals readily. And so it's a very meaningful thing. And every time we earn $1,000, I can write another check for $150, and to me it's a privilege. It's this is a gift of art that I didn't even know I have, and mind boggle.
And he's using it,
and he's using it to be able to bless and save lives.
I love that. Well, you give me the links so I can put that in the notes.
Sure.
So be sure to read the notes at the bottom of this video, so we can, if you'd like to be a part of, if you want to buy some art, or if you want to contribute to the charity. Otherwise, that I'm sure that would be a great reward. So this is Boo. Can you guys see how sweet Boo is?
She is a big baby.
She sits by she has her little dog bed right by Tiffany's little studio over here. So she's got a little setup here, and she's loves having Tiffany work from home. So but you were going to share something else with the viewers before you went over to pick something up, and then we realized that this wasn't recording. And I'm like,
hello, two blondes in a video.
I know, 2 blondes in a video. That's pretty funny.
I pulled these off the wall. They sent me this from New Hope Orphanage, which I thought was so sweet.
Darling.
And the children and of course the people that run it pray for me, because I have vertigo that I've dealt with for over a year. And so just knowing that they care, they recognize that that we're giving, and they're just beautiful kids. So it's just I
love that.
And then Cindy had asked me about I pulled this off the wall. This was my background, which was portraiture in pencil, and this is my granddaughter who I had drawn and gotten an award at a local show before I started painting. But
that's beautiful.
Thank you.
That is beautiful. The depth and so do you mainly do it off of a photograph? Is that how you do it? Yeah. That's awesome. Yep. The depth is beautiful, and the highlights and everything. And what is her name?
Finley Claire.
Finley Claire. How cute is that? How cute is that? That's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, so your favorite thing to paint, has it been the frogs?
I think that the lionfish, which is my original piece, those I love painting, and the seahorses, those are just, I think those are my absolute favorite. And then I have a blast with frogs, because I get all types. I mean, there's one holding a coffee cup that I could not keep up with the orders on those. Those quickly left. We ordered a pallet, and I had 9 on that pallet, and they were gone. So yep.
So how many have you sold in the last 15? You had
almost 1,200 pieces.
Because you had a goal. I remember talking to you that you were like, for the year you wanted to sell a certain number of them. So you exceeded that.
It's mind-blowing. I literally, when I started to do numbers, I thought, I wonder how many people have bought 5 or more. Because a couple of people, when I would deliver them to them, they would say, "Hey, I'm in the 5 club," and I'm like, "Oh, that would be really fun."
You should have a little punch card or something,
well,
right?
instead of a punch card, because I would forget to punch it. I mean, I would totally forget. But I created a frequent flyer club for those that had 5 or more pieces. So I counted up. I had 60 people.
Shut up.
Yes.
You have created like a following.
Okay.
There's no doubt.
And then there were like when I set it up about 3 months ago, I think there were 2 people that had 10 or more, and then one with 15. Well, now I have like a ton of people with 10 or more pieces.
Wow.
One lady just moved in. She bought 4 before she moved in. People will often order them and so I get to just enjoy them on my lanai. I have revolving art or on my office wall. And anyways, she's been here for 2 weeks, and every day it's like, okay, I need something from my foyer. I need something above my bed. And so she's hit 10
great.
in 2 weeks.
That's great.
And we have one guy that has 30. He's in Savannah.
Wow.
Yes, he's created a tropical paradise.
In his backyard or in his
inside
house?
His house,
everywhere?
Outside his house. all over.
How did he find you?
Our son had just come back from Afghanistan, and we were eating at a restaurant, and I was wearing a Lily Pulitzer dress because I love those colors. And this man walked by and said, "Oh, is that one of those dresses?" And anyways, it started a conversation. I mentioned how I paint a dress, how I'm a tropical artist and I paint in these colors. And so there started the conversation. And before breakfast was over, I had an order for a frog and 2 cranes. I just sent it in my website or in my Facebook group.
Oh my God, I love that.
And every time he comes through Daytona, he's picking up more pieces.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. So the other thing I think we did touch on in the other video real quick was that, when you moved here, you started doing this, and then you also have been you're like a huge networker. Right? I mean, you do a ton of networking, and you started some groups and things like that. So
when we first moved here, I got a job as a receptionist for the Chamber of Commerce. I really wanted to get to know the community. I needed something to get out of the bed, to make me put on some makeup and do my hair in spite of the humidity.
Right.
And it was a fantastic time until my artwork became too overwhelming. But in that process of getting into the community, I thought, let me get the ladies of Margaritaville out to various things. So I would set up all these events and eventually started a group called Ladies Lunch Bunch. And we'll start it again after the COVID
calms
stuff.
Down, yeah.
But every week, a different day, a different restaurant that's locally owned in Volusia County. And so it supports local restaurants and enables, I've had ladies say, "Oh my gosh, I just met my villa mate. She was sitting here. I'd never met her before." So that's really fun.
That connected.
Yeah. Yep.
I love that.
And then I started an artists and crafters community group, which once a month we have a class. I've got some different friends that have taken over on some planning now because I'm kind of a little busy these days. And we'll have either like a group come in, Artrageous, to teach. Like we did a resin pour class a couple times. We're going to have artists here in the community also teach like jewelry making and various things. That's a great way to connect. We have quarterly arts and crafts shows where people can sell their wares if they're a resident. And then Eric and I started faith communities where there's a men's group, there's a women's group, and then there's also a co-ed Bible study, different opportunities to connect, be with people of faith. Doesn't matter what church you go to or what type. If you want to grow in your relationship with the Lord, then you just connect. And it's a great prayer thing. In a 55 plus, you're going to have a lot of people that get sick or hurt, and people can reach out, meet the needs, and be lifting each other up in prayer.
Right, because I remember one of the things when we talked before about why you guys chose here, it was to find a sense of community.
Yes.
And that kind of resonated with me because that's one of the things that I love to be able to do for people is to introduce them to their neighbors, or just because you never know when you're going to need something. Right. You might need a cup of sugar, or you might need somebody to walk the dog. You don't know.
Right. And that next person you meet could be your best friend.
Absolutely.
There's never a need to say, "Oh, I've got my group." There's somebody else that
that might need you as well. And that's what I love about the active adult communities and the fact that you've worked really hard and you're still working, but you deserve to have time for you.
Yes.
You and your husband. So.
And what I love, and I'm sure this is in other communities, but it's been unique to us here, is the amount of people truly caring. A year ago, basically, I came down with a really horrific bout of vertigo, and 52 days later, I wasn't driving. And my husband travels with his job internationally. A hurricane, I had so many people calling me going, "I'm at Publix, I've got batteries for you, I've got water, what else do you need?" I mean, it's an amazing, people truly care here.
I love that. Well, great. Well, thank you so much for
welcome.
bearing with, where there's a will, there's a way. That's all I got to say. And God is the one that shows us the way and gets us through a lot of things, and with perseverance we get things done. And I just very impressed with everything that I've seen you make, and I can't wait to
having a lot of fun.
Yeah, can't wait to get mine. All right, well, take care, make it a great day, everybody, and remember, Uptown is more than a location, it is a state of mind. Make it a great one. Bye.